to Out the Box Fancast. I am your host, Barry 3D.
I'm DJ Rod C. How y'all doing?
Hey, we're back with another one. So, usually we're always poking fun at it, right? So I'm still going with it. That I'm also known as Pucky.
Mm-hmm. And I guess I'll be Houston Jr. That's right. Houston, we got a problem.
Houston, we got a problem.
We got problems. Here we go.
That's right. I'm all DC'd out today, and I'm going to post this video later on. So I got my Batman tea mug, and I got my Captain Marvel Shazam bright yellow t-shirt.
Can the White Shot get the TV? Is the TV in the White Shot? I don't care. You didn't have to force it, but if it wasn't, now it is.
Well, it's old school. It's old school Batman and Robin, the animated adventures, man.
Well, you got the cup. That's what I'm just saying.
Right now.
You know, he's swerving around. We got Neil, our producer, helping us with the camera work. So today, usually we like to go a little bit off the cuff,
right?
So in today's episode, tonight, this afternoon, wherever you listen to it, in a can, on the bus ride, Boss Young at work, we are doing, and we're going to call this one a spoiler.
Right.
So once again, we're going to be covering and talking about X-Men. Oh God, he's taking off his glasses.
Yeah.
X-Men: Age of Apocalypse.
Okay.
If you haven't seen it,
Spoiler.
So we're going to talk about this movie. We've just saw it. It's only been out for a little while. By the time this gets dropped, more people have already seen it, so we should be good.
Right.
If you haven't seen it, sorry, turn it off. Skip to the next one. We'll be talking about Namor the Submariner and some other stuff.
There you go.
Right on. And you can come back to this one.
Yeah.
So first of all, Rod, you've seen it.
Yeah, I have.
I've seen it.
Yes, you have.
Right on. And I'm going to start off. Mr. DJ Rod C.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about it?
It was...
Let's break it down. What did you think about it overall as a movie?
Okay.
In the X-Men franchise.
Okay. Overall, in the franchise itself, it was alright, and I'm just saying that nicely in the sense that it was tolerable in the sense that, okay, you want to bring the character Apocalypse. That's no problem. He's a big hitter. This is something a lot of people know. Yeah, basically, I mean, those who are X-Men fans, those who are readers, they understand, they know who Apocalypse is. So you're expecting a certain level of things to be, be portrayed on the screen. And I know that you can never do anything exactly. That's always my tug on it. You want something as close to the material. But sometimes you're going to have to change the material, which is okay.
I see the look at his face right now.
But you want to be close to the material. Try to be close to the material.
I hear you. Okay. So, within the franchise,
yeah,
I think overall the movie was good. Okay. Now,
yeah.
I know my personal opinion. I've seen the movie. I want to rewatch the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, if I have to break it down in the first 3 original X-Men movies, let's see. The very first X-Men movie, I liked it. Though I think it's better than the very first X-Men movie. I think it's up there. Is it better than the second one? Let's see. The first one's when it came in. The second one...
Future Past.
No. Future Past was not the original.
Were you okay?
Sorry, I'm talking. All the X-Men movies are out right now.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were just talking about the new generation.
No. I'm talking because we're covering the whole thing, right? So it's not. I think X-Men First Class was really well done.
Yeah.
It was a really good introduction movie, and it kind of tied into that and Days of Future Past.
Right.
Out of the 3 original X-Men movies, it's way better than number 3. They even poke fun at it in the movie about third movies. Number 2, it's up there a bit. Number 1, I think it's on par. I think the movie could have been maybe one of the top 3 X-Men movies, top 4 X-Men movies out of all of them that are out to date right now.
Okay, I guess for me to get a better clarification, are you referring to the X-Men movies back with Patrick Stewart?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm talking all of them because you got to look at all of them as a whole, right? Because
yes. I know you have to look at it as a whole. I just don't understand what their whole concept is. Definitely trying to reboot, like everything's being rebooted.
Well, they have to reboot. I mean, let's put it this way. Not cut you off.
Yeah.
So the first one's with Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman coming in there as Wolverine. The very first movie. Those first 3 movies with Halle Berry as Storm and all that. They wrote the writers, whoever, they put themselves in a corner. Right?
Definitely.
Because they had the first one, then the second one, Cyclops had what? 2 lines? 2 lines.
Yeah. Wow.
2 lines. Right? He's Cyclops, leader of the X-Men. It was like the cartoon, Wolverine and the X-Men. It wasn't the X-Men. Right. So 2 lines, and then at the end of the second movie, they killed off Jean Grey.
Yes.
Right? Because of the Phoenix power. They gave her the Phoenix power.
Yeah.
killed her off.
No one introduced to that. That's no problem.
That's right. They didn't bring in the Shi'ar. They didn't want to do anything with outer space.
Again.
Right on. Beginning of the third movie, Cyclops is out there weeping. Jean Grey comes back, kills him.
Yeah.
Right, which is a scene where she's supposed to rise out of the water as the Phoenix. She kills her love, Cyclops.
Yeah.
Right, so he got a word in the third movie. He just showed up for one day of shooting. It's like, hey, look, we're only gonna use you for like 30 minutes. What do you mean?
Wait,
it takes you 25 minutes to get in costume, and it takes us 30 seconds to kill you. Okay, we're good. Move on.
Action.
Yeah, he was screaming over at his agent. Probably he wasn't screaming. It's like, okay, pretend you're getting shot with something, but show some emotion. Yeah, he was screaming because he was mad at his agent.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, they wrote themselves in the corner. They couldn't get themselves out of it. They had no choice but to reboot the franchise.
Fully understand.
Right,
fully understand.
Days of Future Past. They rebooted the franchise with it. Okay, they've gone back to the 70s. Let's make it funky.
Okay.
I like the villain in it. I like that they brought in the aspect of the Sentinels first.
No problem.
Right. My things about Days of Future Past is because I love that storyline from the comic book.
Yeah.
In the comic book, it's different from the movie.
Yeah.
In the comic book, they send back Kitty Pryde, not Wolverine. Right on. They fight the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. They almost kill off one of the Senators, which would have started a whole bunch of events that happens in the future with the Sentinels and all that.
Yep.
I want my Sentinels, I mean, like giant Sentinels. Well, they showed it.
Well, yeah, exactly. They showed it,
but they showed mutants in the future that weren't even there. Like they showed Warpath. How can you put Warpath in the future and not show his older brother Thunderbird?
Like I said,
he's supposed to be part of X-Force.
Right.
Okay, so we're just getting the backstory. And then, okay, they did that. Then they did X-Men First Class.
Yeah, well, that's prior to that, yeah.
Okay, so how is it that Havoc is the first X-Men when it's supposed to be Cyclops as the first X-Men? And then he doesn't even know who his brother is. And
right.
Then, okay. And then now we get into X-Men Age of Apocalypse. And now, there's one thing I might have missed. You can answer this for me.
Okay.
Scott, Havoc are brothers, right?
That is correct.
Right, Scott and what?
Yeah.
Okay, Alex are brothers.
Yeah.
When Alex goes to see Scott at the house, right, and he meets the parents, he goes because Scott has the big blindfold on his head.
Yeah.
Are those his biological parents, or did they say they're adopted parents? Who's ever listening can correct this for me and let me know.
I don't recall.
Because to me, they should have been adopted foster parents.
They should be.
Should be. And I can't remember if they said it was really his real parents or adoptive parents that had him. They made Alex the older brother, which is not the case. Scott's the older brother.
Yeah.
Their parents, their biological parents, were kidnapped by the Shi'ar.
Yeah.
His mother was killed off by Emperor Decan.
Yep. Father.
And the father escaped, the captain, right? And he called himself Corsair, leader of the Starjammers, starts a rebellion against that king of the Shi'ar Empire at the time.
Right.
They're in outer space, but they don't want to mention anything about outer space in the X-Men movies.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of connections. There's a lot of not connections. Let's say loopholes, stuff that are not connected.
There's more loopholes in this movie than there's potholes in Montreal.
There you go. Wow, good reference. Good segue.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, I mean, even for me, for all those three movies, my issues I'm having with Mystique, the character having Mystique as, for one, somehow a half brother, a step brother, half brother, family member to Charles Xavier. No,
oh gosh, yeah.
Right off the bat, no. Somehow turning herself into the leader of the X-Men. No. Don't see what's happening right here. There's issues like that just got me so upset. Oh, we even just going for the current movie then. Okay, so Nightcrawler. How does Nightcrawler, who's a teen, but being a teenager, cool. But he's just basically, just say it would be nice. Let's say he's 3 years younger than Mystique, who's supposed to be his mother. So how did this work out? Those who were writing this movie, again, why? You see, my problem with all this, when people are making movies, comic book movies, there are source material.
Respect the canon.
Respect it. That's all it is. For me, I'll say, as a quick segue, when G.I. Joe came out, Barry and I were having a discussion before all this. I had a problem with that movie only because it's supposed to have references and they never stuck to it. Call that movie something else. Call it like Task Force Number 1. Call it like a new unit that's, a global unit that's taking out terrorism, and just set that movie just as is. Right. This movie would have been great. I had no problem with anything. but you're supposed to have source material and you're not sticking to it.
Okay, let's see now the G.I. Joe movie, and forgive us, we're gonna go back and forth talking about a lot.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
No,
So,
I mean to people.
yeah,
Sorry about that. We're going back and
Sorry
forth.
about that. Sorry about
Right.
that. So the G.I. Joe movie, it's called The Rise of Cobra.
I understand it's supposed to be the rise of Cobra, but there's certain things that was like, come on.
But it was The Rise of Cobra. But you know what? I like that movie because it was action non-stop.
No, I got no problem with that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All the action, everything was perfect. Just take out the word G.I. Joe as in calling it the rise of Cobra.
Right.
Call it something else that has no reference to Cobra, no reference to G.I. Joe.
Right.
That movie would have been on par. You were like saying, mwah, perfect. I want three or four sequels off of that. Whatever the new name, Task Force Alpha or whatever you want to call it.
Right. Okay.
That was my thing.
Right.
Having that source material and everything that was supposed to be, like, it made no sense.
No, they call it names. They call it names. I think that, you know what? It was called The Rise of Cobra. The villains in that movie were done a lot better than the heroes. You know, the guy who played Storm Shadow, I liked it.
Yes.
You know, I know they overtried to say everyone's related. So pretty much, what it tells you in these movies is that if I turn evil and become a bad guy, then by rights, because you're my cousin, you're automatically the good guy. Right? Which by rights means that your daughter might be caught between the two of us as trying to save the family dynamic.
Right.
Which by rights means that her boyfriend, when she has one, is going to turn around, and she better not have one, is going to turn around and then have to get caught up with it and might get caught in my madness trying to bring me back to save the family dynamic. This is like a Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston, Bobby Christina kind of scenario with that other guy that turned around and turned the whole family inside out.
Ouch. But yeah, I understand. Okay, cool.
Because it was too. I mean, there was already connections. I get with you. There's already connections in G.I. Joe.
Right.
And there's already connections in X-Men.
Right.
Right. But they made more connections that needed to be.
Correct.
You know, I mean, I said action-wise, I liked it.
Yeah.
The actors that were in there, I liked it. Even Marlon Wayans, who was a stretch for me.
I was so happy that he was in that movie. For one, I'm like saying, you know what, he does a lot of comedy stuff, whatever. As hearing him, he was going to be in this action flick. That was good. Yes, he brought in the Wayne type of dynamics, which is, you know, that's him. So it was good. But he held it very well. Again,
It was tempered.
Yeah. It was tempered very well. Not very well to say like that, but it was tempered. But you can see there's a comedy layer right there. But he was still serious enough to say, listen, I'm a soldier. I am here to defend my country, to defend the world. And when the time comes down, blah, blah, and he's shooting Russian, Scottish bolts out of a plane into someone's head. Bam! Skaplok!
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. I'm like, this guy's serious. I have no problem with that. Then they get caught by it, you know, coming flying in. I think I'm being arrested again. Oh, dang it. There's the Wayne movement. But it was cool.
Yeah, that's not a Wayne movement. That's a black moment.
Well, actually,
I feel that way every time I'm driving.
Ouch. Okay. Right. But again, I mean, we're halfway segueing off so much things. But this is the fact that there's so many things in these movies. Even with oh my God, I have to say this. Even for the G.I. Joe, Duke's girlfriend, who is the Red Baroness. The Baroness is family to Cobra Commander.
Cobra Commander. Well, you know what? Okay, they had it.
You're trying to stretch again.
Yes,
trying to make that kind of some family type of dynamic to push it over the edge.
Yep. Exactly.
I'm sure they're gonna figure something else out. I even accepted the girlfriend portion of at least saying that, you know what, if it wasn't the brother who passed away, but maybe if she thought Duke had died and he had to stay in the cupboard and let that be the trauma to flip her over, I would have accepted that.
I hear you. I mean, overall, I did like the movie. I've watched the movie many times. I do have it. You know, and it's nice to see like the you know, it comes from the cartoons onto this big screen kind of thing.
Yeah.
Overall, I think the movie had a lot of action and people.
Oh, definitely.
It did the rise of Cobra. So the fact that Cobra Commander was more of a scientist in the army with training as opposed to a car salesman as he was in the comic book.
Right. Or a bibbling idiot in the cartoons. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Well, to a certain degree, I'm okay with like that. It was
shows how him and Destro gone hand in hand, so to speak. How Storm Shadow's there, loyal to him. You know, how he got the Baroness, how he got everyone into control. So it made more sense as him as Cobra Commander.
Right. Okay, you know what? As a side note, we are so off what we started. We were wondering, like, and weren't you guys gonna be talking about
X-Men: Age of Apocalypse?
Right.
Okay, let's jump back on.
Yeah, sorry about that, people. See how crazy it can get.
There's so much to say in so many little time.
Okay, so back to that.
Right. So with Age of Apocalypse,
yes,
here I know there's a lot of things I couldn't respect, but there's things I saw what they tried to do, and if you try to do something, my hat will go off to you if you try to do it.
But
it might not be
when?
successful. Okay,
But when? That's what I'm saying. When would you? If you're
Okay,
doing
this-
it, do it. Okay, go ahead. I'm
right,
gonna see
they're
if-
trying to make their own universe. So right now they're rebooting the whole thing. So first of all, and you can see the video, which will be up later on. I actually do have a video of me in front of one of the locations where they shot at in Montreal.
Nice.
They actually shot Cyclops' scene, his origin scene, at Centennial Regional High School,
Ah, nice,
which was my old high school.
nice.
So that was one of the classrooms that I used to walk by. Or I used to be in when I was there at Centennial. Shout out to Greenfield Park and everyone listening over there in Montreal, right? And then that scene was shot in the bathroom. So that was all shot on premise right there at Centennial Regional High School, just the summer of 2016.
Nice.
That
Oh, 2015.
20 no, summer.
15.
No, not summer. Sorry, the fall because it started before the school year. They shot in August
Okay.
of the 2016.
15. We're in 16 now. So
Yeah, they
last
shot
year.
it in 2016.
Falls last.
My bad. Barry needs a calendar. 2015. 2015. Yeah,
Right.
sorry.
No problem.
Sorry, I jumped the gun. 2015. So yeah, so that's where they shot it in
Okay.
August. Before the school year, and they had all the trucks there, and people had their cameras out and taking all the pictures and stuff like that.
Nice.
So that was awesome to see.
Okay, so I mean, okay, I just got to get a couple of stuff at least off my chest in regards to this movie
Okay,
that I
go
thought
on.
was kind of like, okay, for those who know the power of Apocalypse, yes, he has the ability to enhance people, enhance mutant to give them basically like nearly the full range of their power.
Yes, secondary mutation. Right.
Beautiful, no problem. He himself has the ability to, at least if we're gonna go with which generation are we gonna go? At least being able to transmorph their hand, transmorph himself to be like a solid object and be heavy and so forth. I didn't see all that, which is okay. Probably cost for effects, no problem.
Shot in Montreal. Budget cuts.
Right, budget cuts. So when you see the clip, you see the trailer where he is now hovering over Charles Xavier and about to take him and throw him across the room and whatever the case would be.
Yes.
I was like, yes, that's good. No, that's wrong. Because why that only happened in the dream state?
In the astral plane,
In the
that's
astral
right.
plane of that. And I was a little upset. I'm like saying, so why are we here? This shouldn't be happening inside here. It should be outside.
I didn't say everything was done right. So let me get into this. So first of all, that sequence, astral plane. And let's give a backstory. So let's just say we're gonna break it down character by character. So Cyclops was in school, or when his powers broke out,
Yep.
he can't control them. The reason he can't control them, according to the comic book, is because when his parents, Cyclops, Alex, his mom and dad were on a plane.
Yep.
Aliens came to Earth to Shi'ar. They tried to use a ray to analyze the plane. It was an old World War II plane that his dad was flying for a hobby because his dad was a pilot. It caused part of the engine to catch on fire. Only one parachute was there. Good.
Parents said, here, put
Here.
on the boys. Alex, Scott, put it on. Hold on to your brother. It's best of all. We love you.
Set them free flying. What happened is when they landed, Scott banged his head. Okay, now that didn't cause anything at the beginning, but when his powers developed, that part of the head that he banged damaged it permanently,
Right, so-
which is supposed to be kind of the on and off switch to turn off his power.
Right.
So he can never turn it off.
Right.
That's why he needs the goggles. Okay, so that covers that. Now, seeing that scene in school, him getting bullied, rubbing his eyes, and his power developed because
Yeah,
it
we'll let it
randomly.
go.
Okay, I can handle that.
Yeah, we can let that go.
Film
No
at
problem
Centennial
there.
Regional High School, I was down with that. That's sentimental to me, right? Now, with Alex being the older brother, I wasn't down with that.
Yeah.
Alex being one of the first X-Men in first class, wasn't down with that.
I was with you on that one too. as
Right
well.
on. Scott meeting Jean Grey for the first time and bumping into each other. Okay, that was
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool. That's cute.
Right. That was cool, and that set down a lot of potential between them. If you pay attention to their dialogue,
Right.
there's a lot of things they say that represent cool things to the X-Men franchise.
Right. And I'll even put a little segment on there. There was a scene that was actually cut where there's a scene in the cut where actually Scott was going to release it and just to blast something, and basically Jean was holding his head just to angle him and just give him direction. Which what they wanted to do was to create that little bond to show that, hey, even in the early days they had some type of bond and that they trusted
Yes.
each other. To say, Jean could say, trust me, I will guide your eye beams to hit whatever target. Scott, now in reverse, I will trust you to control me in this particular, serious moment of time. But
Right.
unfortunately, they took that out. And if I'd seen that, I mean, again, it would have been an extra nice check off to show that, Scott and Jean had some type of bond started at a certain time. Although it was early off in the movie and
Yeah.
the whole universe, it showed that, listen, we're starting to plant the seed now.
Yes,
of
for
Jean,
the future relationship.
and that's all. That was perfect. But again, seeing the whole thing, what they did so far, I had no problem with that. It was good. It was
they were
commended.
good how they interacted, and I was happy with that. Okay, so Scott, and that's Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Jean, we didn't get much of a backstory with Jean, but
No.
you know, verbal that was fine. That was talked about. You know, they mentioned certain things about her power kind of being out of control.
Yep.
She feels alone, just like Scott feels alone. So the two of them have that common bond that they're drawn together. Okay, fine, I'm with that. Here's where I think they try to then piece match things together. Storm.
Right.
Okay, so Storm was in Cairo.
Got it.
That was correct for me.
Yep.
Storm was young as a pickpocket.
Yep.
That was correct for me. Storm had the mohawk. A little bit too early.
Just a tad.
Right on.
But you know what? We'll let that go because I think again they just want to make sure anybody recognized this character. Not only is it's a black character, young girl, just in case they didn't know who she was.
Yes.
Right off the bat, you can say if you know at least some background of Storm from X-Men, minus the Halle Berry, she has a mohawk. We'll put it in. So
Right
I gave that the gray 50-55% above. Like, okay, we'll give it acceptance.
Yeah, exactly. Her having the accent, the way she spoke. Right on.
Right.
Okay, now here's where it changed. Now, I know in the comic, when she's at that point of her life,
Mm-hmm. I know where you're going.
she was controlled by the Shadow King. The Shadow King was another telepath that was on par with Charles Xavier.
That's right.
And Charles went, and him and the Shadow King found each other in Cairo, and it had a battle on the astral plane
Yep.
that played out more like what the end of the movie did with Charles and Apocalypse.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Okay, that's how that played out and freed. Apocalypse showing up and increasing Storm's power, okay. And giving her the white hair, okay.
Yeah.
Right? But why did she become a horseman? I wanted to see the original horseman.
Thank you. I had a problem. And when I saw that, I had to go back and research. Could I just say, you know what? Maybe I could have
Nope.
faltered.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I know.
Yeah.
But I went and checked and said, maybe I could have faltered. And I went and checked. Yeah. Because Psylocke did catch me off guard. Because I didn't know she was, but she was at one time. So she was. So I said,
Yes.
okay. So she got the passing grade. Of course, most of us know Angel, a.k.a. Archangel.
Thank you.
Got the check off. No problem.
And we'll touch him in a bit. Yes, go on.
And Magneto. I don't recall Magneto being a horseman.
No.
So I'm like,
No.
okay.
He would
why?
never be a horseman because
Yeah.
he's too much of a big character himself. You know what I mean?
Thank
And rest
Thank
in
you.
peace. It's like saying, Prince is gonna, play backup guitar for Michael Jackson. No.
That's not happening, people.
No. It's not gonna say that Michael Jackson's gonna do background vocals for Prince.
Not happening, people.
No. The two of them are so big that they're not gonna work underneath the other person, so Magneto's not gonna work underneath Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
But that was basically the only thread to pull him out of being under the mindset of Apocalypse. And I could see that from the beginning, but it was like,
Right.
really, you really put it there. It was so forceful, but
Yeah,
let it go.
I didn't like them being horsemen. Angel,
Yeah.
okay, I get. So we got that with Storm.
Right.
Let's get into Angel.
Yeah.
So Angel's doing death matches in a cage, just like Wolverine back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, Angel never had the killer instinct.
No.
No, it's true when Apocalypse did show up. Apocalypse was the one that gave him his metal wings that shoot off the darts and all that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
I was waiting for the blue skin.
Yes, it didn't pull that off, right? I'm
Didn't
like,
no blue skin.
anyways,
He had the metal wings.
Yeah.
The wings did what they're supposed
Again,
to.
spoiler. I'm just gonna say it every few minutes. Spoiler, so you just understand. We're just being
Right.
true to
So he had the blue wings. Okay, the metal wings. Okay, so Angel as
Yeah.
Angel wasn't because I'm like he wouldn't be the bad boy up there drinking and looking like all manic depressive.
Not at that young age. You see,
No.
that's another thing too.
Yeah.
That would have been Warren later on in life. Warren
Yeah.
would be like that. He would have been just, I have all the money. I have the girls, whatever the case would be. I just had enough, and like blah blah. He gets depressed. Fine, we'll give that to Warren. But that's like a mid 20s, late 20s Warren.
Yeah, exactly.
This is too early. No,
way too
no,
early.
No.
Way too early.
Okay, so they're just cutting pieces, everything all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
You have source material. Stick to it.
Stick to it. Now him being one of the horsemen, no problem, because he's supposed to be, and he was the baddest one. He was the one that got that. He went from Mr. Nice Guy to Archangel, who had that more of a vicious killing spree,
Yes.
instinct than Wolverine at one point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good. Now Olivia Munn as Cyclops. Sorry, not Cyclops. Psylocke.
Psylocke.
To me, she was cast well.
She was.
Her costume was on point. The powers they showed, she was on point. I don't know why she. You're right. She was one of the horsemen.
Yeah, she was.
Right, but and I don't have many qualms about her.
No. So,
Magneto, as I was saying,
Yeah.
Okay, so in the movie, spoiler, 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 to those who haven't seen the movie, anyone that's read a comic book, you know.
Right.
They finally addressed the issue saying Magneto and Quicksilver are father and son.
Yeah. One Direction. Magneto doesn't know.
Not One
No.
Direction.
Yeah.
I get it? No. Okay, no, Magneto doesn't know.
Right.
Because, and it's like the original storyline. The original storyline, Magneto didn't know
You're right.
that.
No. Right, that he had a kid.
He had a
any
kid,
kids. So
right.
we'll let that one go. That's good.
Right? Now, what's the difference is they never bring in Wanda. They only bring in Quicksilver.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. I had a problem again.
Right.
I expected that from the first one, but I thought, oh, maybe Wanda's over at her friend's house. You know, Pietro is just, you know, no.
They never bring in his sister. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, but, you know, in the movie, he's married with a different name and he has a daughter. That's Wanda. That's not Wanda.
No,
that's not Wanda. Because in the comic book, he does have another child.
Yeah.
Right? And she gets killed off, or I think the mother gets killed off, and it kind of drives him over the edge again. So they kind of did that right.
Yes.
But he would never work for Apocalypse.
No.
In Donkey's years. I found they gave him less of a role in this movie than the other one.
Yeah.
So
very submissive. And that's not him.
No.
You see,
Two big eagles.
Yeah. Even that's how weird it should be. You set up a good point. Two big eagles. Magneto has an ego. Apocalypse supposed to have an ego.
Yeah.
But in this movie, I didn't really get that much of a major ego from Apocalypse. He was so minor in a sense. He really felt to me like a B-class character.
Ivan Ooze had more power than him.
So, and the character, the actor, is the same one who did Poe in Force Awakens.
Oh, okay.
So, I read somewhere, which makes sense. I mean, he's a very good actor. He's very good and very talented.
It's the same actor that did Poe in Force Awakens. That's the same actor that did
the one with the jacket. I say, you know what?
Yeah.
Here, take my
buddy.
jacket.
Yeah.
Keep my jacket. It looks good on you. That's supposed to be him.
That's Apocalypse?
Yeah. But you see, exactly. So you're like, you have more words and more action in that movie. In this one, you're kind of like talking the same thing. Or I'm here to save you children, and you don't know, you've lost your way. And it just sounds so... It's just like broken record. And I'm like, yeah, very weak. Very weak.
No.
And again... Apocalypse, as we know, is supposed to be very tall, 6 foot. And this guy wasn't that tall. No disrespect, but the character was not cast. Now,
no. Now, I want to tell you
small things.
Yeah, exactly. And those are things that So he said, Mystique, Nightcrawler. I was looking for the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. They did poke fun in that movie, saying the third movie in any franchise always is the worst movie. Henceforth, that's their tongue-in-cheek moment, flashing back to X-Men 3. What I did really like, I loved about this movie is one scene is whereas the cameo of Wolverine.
Yes. Oh, yes. They changed it up slightly, but I mean...
right, and I'll tell you, I like this cameo because it was him in his Weapon X outfit.
Right.
The shorts, the helmet, all he was missing was the red visor.
Yes.
He had the things. He gets broken out of his cage.
Yep.
Right, his cell.
Yep.
And he goes ham on these guys. And he was more vicious in this cameo appearance than he's been in any movie, be it the Wolverine movies, be it the X-Men movies. The only thing missing was body parts flying. He sliced people up. You saw, they didn't try. If this movie was R-rated, you would have seen people's limbs falling off.
For sure.
He goes out and he just starts going. He's getting shot and he's screaming and he's punching and he's slashing people away. And there's no question about, he's just knocking him unconscious. No, he's got these claws popping out that cut through anything. He's killing people.
Yeah. You see, the one thing I like, what I liked about that, like even for this movie, I don't know if you caught on that what they were doing is different segments. The first one was in the 60s, the second one's in the 70s, this one is the 80s. And again, during the 80s is when Wolverine broke loose from Weapon X and took off. So I was happy that they were able to basically infuse that imagery, letting everybody know that, hey, this is for sure saying it, this is the 80s. This movie is dealt and made in the 80s, so this is what you're expecting. Timeline. Again, you wanted to respect the timeline, and they're doing it to a certain degree, but certain stuff, I'm like, you lost me. But I'm happy for that. Trust me, I was very happy when I saw the Wolverine.
That scene was on point.
It was on point. It was on point. I had no problem with that.
That scene was, especially when the last time he gets the last guy down, he just goes to town, like punching him away with the claws out.
Not saying any word. It's Berserk. He's in Berserker mode.
Exactly. Berserker mode, blood flying, and then once again, Wolverine and Redheads... they kind of respected that because anyone that knows the character, he either loves his women Asian or he loves redheads, right? If you look at Heather,
yeah,
right, Heather from Alpha Flight, who was Guardian's wife, they found him in the woods. So now here is where they
will go for that. Right?
And we've covered this before in a podcast before, right? When we talked about Alpha Flight. So going back, if they wanted to, they could have actually brought Alpha Flight in as that is a segue.
No, that was perfect.
That was absolutely perfect, because that's the scene where Wolverine runs out into the woods, into the forest, just wears shorts, middle of winter.
Yep.
Right? Later on, a couple of weeks later, after he breaks out, he's found in the woods by James and Heather McDonald, right? Who was the leader of Alpha Flight before Alpha Flight existed.
Yep.
And it's because he sees Heather, and Heather reminds him of his redhead girlfriend that he knew when before he lost his memory, and when he was James Howlett.
Yep.
Exactly. So this is why he has an affinity for redheads. That being said, he remembers Heather, goes in, joins Alpha Flight, gets brought into the Weapon X program again, and then from there he goes and he fights the Hulk, and then from there, he gets probed by Charles Xavier when the original X-Men get kidnapped on this island, and he brings Wolverine and the new class with Nightcrawler and Colossus and the rest of them.
Again, and you see how that was segue now, that should be after this event. So basically, we should be saying that, okay, he broke out, give it another maybe 2 years, or the next X-Men movie, then they should be, in a sense, bringing in
something of Alpha Flight.
Well, Alpha Flight, I'm just saying, bringing in Wolverine, but you see, they messed this up again, because on the second one is when they bring in Wolverine, Storm, Warpath, and so forth, but we already brought Storm. You already brought in Storm, so you just messed up the whole timeline. Yeah,
we see, because now you got to remember forget the first 3 movies; they're out the window.
No. I'm not talking about that. Out of the first class, if it's first class, future past.
Yes.
Now this one, Apocalypse, Storm's in here. Storm technically should not be coming till, if we're gonna say, the merger of Alpha Flight and Charles now coming to Wolverine. That I need a second team to pick up my first team.
Yes.
Storm is part of the second team.
But
in this movie, Storm is part of. What a team! What are we going? We never even know if this is Team A, B. No, this has to be a team.
Gold, blue.
No, this is
So I get what you're saying, but that was my favorite scene in the movie. That was a well done cameo.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why they're staying in the '80s. I'll tell you that, because they're releasing 2 TV shows coming up next year.
Yep.
Right. For those that don't know, there's 2 TV shows coming up. They're taking place in the late '70s, early '80s.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is called Prometheus.
Yep. Which
is going to deal, and they touched about it in this movie, which is the son of Charles Xavier and Moira McTaggart.
No, that's Legion.
Oh, sorry, Legion.
Right, that's Legion.
That's Legion. Well,
that's the second. That's the second show is Legion. That's what I was thinking about.
Prometheus. Sorry. Second show is Legion, which is Charles Xavier's son.
Right.
With Moira McTaggart. Prometheus is Moira's son with the Senator. So in this movie, remember, Charles sees Moira and you're still looking good. Oh, wait a minute, you have a son? She goes, yeah. That's if I remember, it's David. That's Prometheus right there. That's her young son.
Okay.
Right? But she's divorced from the father, which is true in the comic book. But why does Moira McTaggart go? Now, she's here in the CIA agent, but in the comic book, she's a scientist. And she gets into, mutants and stuff like that.
Yep.
So she's still interested in mutants.
Yeah.
Still wants to know more about them. But at one point, her son becomes a mutant and turns as a villain against the X-Men, and they have to put him down.
Right.
And it's up to Colossus, to do the killing stroke, so to speak.
Oh, see, you brought in Colossus again for team number B, the backup. Anyways, too many loopholes.
Too many loopholes.
Too many loopholes. Anyways, so so we're talking about those 2. Okay, so what else we're gonna bring up?
Right, and then the other one is the other movie they're doing at that same time is the Hellfire Club.
Yes. Now I'm happy and I'm scared how that one's gonna turn out. But
I don't know, because you see, now here's the thing. I don't want the Hellfire. I mean, I get the Hellfire Clubs in the '80s. Sometimes when things get dated, it's hard to do it properly, right?
Yeah.
But the Hellfire Club is like my favorite group of X-Men villains. More so than the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and all that, because they're successful businessmen and women who are mutants that form the Hellfire Club and form the inner circle.
Yeah.
And the big thing is now, once again, because of time travel and how they did it in the movies, Emma Frost starts off as a member, I know you're shaking your head, as one of the members of the Hellfire Club.
Yeah. Yes, I know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Emma Frost looks at Charles and says, oh, by the way, they're also talking about doing a New Mutants, even though there was a New Mutants movie years ago. So if there's going to be New Mutants, they need someone to fight. And once again, Hellfire Club / the Hellions which is
is there?
mutants under Emma Frost being trained to use her powers for evil.
Yeah, I understand that. I can go with that. I can go with that.
Shazam.
But again, that's. No, again, I can see that, but we're just hoping that they do that right. They do that right. But anyways.
Well, that's the whole point. We'll see what happens, but that's how it might break down. So, am I excited to see the Hellfire Club? Just to see the Hellfire Club finally on camera?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Am I kind of afraid how it's going to come across because it's being handled by Fox? Absolutely.
We shall see. We shall see. Back to Apocalypse. Back to Apocalypse and its madness. I just got so many stuff in my head. I'm just jumping from all over the place.
Right, okay, so
what else in the movie? What else happened in the movie? For one, it just dragged on too long. 3/4 for the movie, then you got in some like major action. That kind of got me upset.
Yeah, there should have been more action before. Like, see, G.I. Joe had action all the way.
And I had no problem with that.
Right. In this movie, it was too much with the explanation. I understand they're trying to bring everyone's origin story in.
Yeah.
With Apocalypse, what I think they tried to do, instead, because they had Apocalypse in a pyramid. And in the pyramid, it had the gold things coming down.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to that too.
Right.
I got a problem with that.
To me, I think that was ship.
Very good thoughts. Very good. I will accept the notion for ship. I will accept the notion for ship. Now, my only problem with the transition from that.
Yes.
Now, if you see how they did Apocalypse the first time, when he had his body or his consciousness moved from his old body to his new younger body, back then, you saw him rise up. Basically depleted from him. And came up into his new body, right?
Right.
Then that fell down, whatever, came out, millions years later. Bam. Okay. Right. My problem now is when he was basically trying to take control of Charles. Mm-hmm. To me, the whole idea is that you will leave your consciousness of your own body and go into the next.
Yes.
No, they didn't. What they were doing is trying to pull from Charles and bring it into him.
Yes.
Why did we do the reverse? It never was shown that you could do that. Not saying you can't, but you made it seem as though it's going from Apocalypse basically carries conscience from one to another. So technically, why didn't he just burn his conscience from him into Charles?
Yeah, true enough. Because why do you move your body into a crippled body?
Right. So you're saying you're going to pull it up, but even the way if I can remember the whole imagery of how they try to drain it, it didn't really make proper sense on that. But I saw that and I'm like thinking, isn't it supposed to be the other way?
I think it's because that there was one girl at the very beginning that was helping transfer his mind from one body to the other body in the beginning of the movie, and she died.
Right. So if that's the case, then how is he even able to do it now without her? That's what sister should be like saying, I don't have the person in the middle to transmute from one to another. Oh, we're out, man. She should be like saying, Apocalypse, I can't help you, man. I'm out.
Yeah, it's
true.
You
need to find yourself another person.
It's true. Loophole. I mean, it's a loophole. I'm not saying, I just think that whole thing was ship in the first place. To me, I'm still sticking with that theory that was ship.
That'd be nice. Honestly, that'd be nice.
Because
if they can answer that and say that was ship, that'd be nice.
Yeah, because what else would it be? There's no thing. It was too advanced for that time. I don't know where ship came from. We know ship was left behind by what one of not the Sentinels. The Sentinels, I think it was.
Sentinels.
Yeah, it was a Sentinel ship. That's right. But I think it has to be ship. And what else would it be? I can't think of anything else. And it makes sense, right? That would be ship. Even though it wasn't talking.
We're gonna put that out there. When anybody's listening to this, let's start.
Let us know. Was that ship that the X-Men take over at one point and is taken over by X Factor?
That would be nice.
And then Apocalypse comes back to reclaim ship.
Oh my goodness!
And then he infects Nathan with the technovirus. And then he's got to get thrown into the future to get saved. Then he comes back from the future as an old man, and it's Cable.
Comes back as Dave S.
Shane. Dave S.
Segue.
If you don't know it, it's one of our buddies out there, Dave. He's got a Facebook. On his Facebook, he says Dave for Cable. Oh my gosh, he would so rock Cable. He's a comedian. He's funny. Dave, this one's for you.
Just for you, man. I've been just kind of hoping we'll get to that. Like, perfect. If not today, it was next week. Hey, we did it today. Yippee.
Dave for Cable.
Dave for Cable.
Dave for Cable. I'm glad to see that there's someone else that likes this character just as much as I do. Cable is awesome. I even have a card somewhere around here that actually is a gold limited edition card of Cable. by Rob Liefeld.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just because I moved and I packed up all my stuff. But, I want to look. And if I find it, Dave, that one's for you. I'm looking. I know I put it on my desk somewhere because I never put that one too far, Dave. When I find it, I'll post it on Instagram. You'll see it. Okay.
Bomb. Okay, what else was there? Anything else?
Okay, so the very end of the movie.
Yes.
This spoiler.
Spoiler.
So at the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
After the credits.
Yeah.
They show an after credit scene. Do you remember what the after credit scene was?
I do not recall.
It was a suitcase.
Oh, yes.
The gentlemen walk in, they take the Weapon X stuff, put it in a bag, they close the suitcase. The suitcase said a very specific name.
Yeah.
Essex Corporation.
Yes.
Nathan Essex.
And if we go that route?
Mr. Sinister.
Now...
Obviously, if they're putting it in there, he's got to be something to deal with. Now, Mr. Sinister does and has worked with Apocalypse in the past.
That is correct.
He likes to manipulate the mutant timelines. He's a genius. He's a long-lived mutant.
Yes.
And he's very thing about selective breeding with mutants.
Yes, he is.
He works so hard. Now, this, once again, Dave, this is for you. Worked so hard because he wanted Jean Grey and Scott Summers to get together and have a child.
Yep.
But Jean Grey died.
Yep.
So he got Jean Grey's DNA.
Yep.
Made a clone of Jean Grey.
Hey, Madeline.
That's right. Called her Madeline Pryor.
That's right.
Right? And then put her there in front of Cyclops. So when Cyclops or Scott Summers was kind of recovering from Jean dying, he's like, hey, this girl looks exactly like Jean.
I'm going to marry you.
I'm going to marry you. He jumped the gun, so she's a rebound girl.
Yep.
She moved away from the X-Men.
Pretty much.
Then he knocked her up. Scott Summers knocked her up.
Yep.
Then he ditched her because Jean Grey came back.
The original's here. Sorry. I like the original feel. Bye.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Because Scott Summers is a douche when it comes to women.
Yes.
And people are like, oh, Cyclops is great. No, he's a douche when it comes to relationships. So he bounces out on his pregnant wife to run back to Jean Grey.
Wife.
Yeah, wife. Runs out on her back to Jean Grey. To be with Jean Grey and leaves her pregnant. She gives birth to Nathan Summers. Right on. So now he realizes he has a kid. Is he really there for his kid at first? No, he's a deadbeat dad. Right? Douche. So then at one point, what happens is Madeline kind of starts freaking out. They release Madeline's power because she's just angry.
Right.
Who wouldn't be? Left pregnant. She goes after him, and then she gets powers, and then she becomes the Goblin Queen, which leads to the Infernal storyline.
I need to see that again, man. It's been a hot minute. My God. See, comics book were good back in the days, man. Story arcs. Why are we now following story arcs?
Cannon right there. Cannons to the right of me. Cannons to the left. Volley. So then it turns around. Right? So Nathan's there. So then he deals with the Goblin Queen. Defeat Madeline Pryor.
Yeah.
All the demons. And this one of the demons on there turns around and teams up with, kind of gets kidnapped or teams up with whatever Colossus' sister, which is Magic.
Oh gosh, see? Storylines are lines. Why are people not making these movies? Do you understand the 90s was like on fire? It was lit.
I had a Jerry curl in the 90s. So.
Not I.
Not you. I had a Jerry curl. I was rocking that New Edition stuff. They come out on BET with their own show, their own movie. Yeah. Okay, BET's doing a biopic.
We'll talk about that later.
Right on. So. Now, get past this. Here we comes down to, let's break it down the final lines. We can wrap this one up.
Yeah.
So he brings in Nathan, brings in that Madeline Pryor, the Infernal storyline.
Yep.
Right? She gets defeated. He turns out becomes a father. Jean Grey becomes a stepmother to Nathan, who is, she's a stepmother to her clone's daughter, whatever. Okay, clone, whatever, for her DNA. So it's really her DNA. So it's put in a sense, she's the mother. So it's like a surrogate. Right. She was a surrogate. She had a surrogate of her own clone.
Yep.
Right? Then they're fighting on ship. It was like issue number 25 of X Factor, I think it was, or 24. Apocalypse shows back up trying to reclaim ship. Says, oh yeah, infects Nathan with the technovirus. Then all of a sudden, someone like Rachel Summers comes from the future. Says, give me the baby.
Give me the boy.
Give me the boy. If you want him to live, give me the boy. They give him the boy, takes off to the future, never to be seen again because they can only cure him in the future.
Right.
Notice, behold, he comes back. Rob Liefeld brings this character called Cable. Next you know, he goes by the name of Nathan Dayspring. Dayspring. So the Day Springs, it is summer.
Right.
It was a variation of his name.
Yep.
He's older than his dad. He's got
Yep.
white hair. He's
Yep.
an old grizzled soldier
Yep.
with a bionic arm.
Yep.
And he comes back and he teams up with Cyclops. They have their ups and downs in moments. He's time travel, so he's fought with and teamed up with Wolverine. And then he deals with another person, which is called Strife,
Yep.
which you find out is a clone of him.
The 90s had stories. Why are we not making these movies? My goodness, people.
Too many clones.
Maybe so. But still.
So that is the whole thing. So this X-Men movie could have had a lot more potential.
Oh, definitely.
We know there's going to be a Deadpool Cable storyline or movie coming up. Deadpool 2 is going to have Cable in it.
Go, Dave, go. Go, Dave, go.
That's right. They are talking about time travel already, so Cable's definitely in there for sure. Question is, who's going to play Cable?
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's going to be the actor that played the General in the first Avatar movie.
Yeah, we had the discussion, and they're like, hand down, given. Someone just find this man right now. Listen.
Oh, he's petitioning for it on Twitter.
Good man.
He's already working
Find
out
your
and says,
man
I
now.
want to be the role.
Listen.
I know Ron Perlman is throwing his hat in the ring for that role also. To play Cable. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who he is in Deadpool 2. But here it is. This is Out the Box Fancast. So, we ran out of audio on the podcast part of it. But this time we got on video.
That's right. We'll do something. We'll rip it somehow. Technology.
So, that being said,
Yeah.
I'm Barry 3D.
And I'm DJ Rodsy.
This is Out the Box Fancast.
Yeah, have yourself a wonderful time.
And don't forget, you can find us on Facebook,
Facebook,
BBM,
BBM,
Twitter,
Twitter,
Instagram,
Instagram,
Tumblr.
tumbling down the road.
And if you want the easy way, just go to barry3d.com.
Yeah, you can find everybody there.
Yeah, just click the link.
There you go.
Right on. You gotta get a website.
Yeah, I know.
Peace.
Later.